Hi everybody, welcome back to those who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I'm Adele Levine, intuitive and medium. All right, so let's get started at the subject at hand. I noticed my last post, it was very well received. Maybe even a topic that people definitely wanted to hear about, which is why the awakening is over. Now, today we're going to move into kind of a sister subject, umbrella subject of that subject. Does that make sense? Okay. First of all, though, I want to give a shout out to my NYC peeps. Wow. I was there 2 weeks ago, and I was literally looking around, and I used to think this when I lived there, that this place is on an island on water. And how crazy is that they built all this, on this island on water? And what would happen if something happens, like a natural disaster? And here we are. So I've been seeing all the TikTok videos. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you should. That New York City, Manhattan, and Jersey, and other boroughs, I think Long Island, are in a state of emergency because they have had basically a hurricane and flood. Now, if you're not familiar with New York weather, this is not the norm. So I'm thinking of all of you there, and I've checked on the ones I know personally, and leave in the comment below, just share with us if you're going through it and what you're going through. And further into this video, I'm going to ask you for some other comments to leave below. So here's to you, New York. All right. It's just water, but it's still a cheers of thoughts. And no, I'm not going to say thoughts and prayers. I was going to say thoughts and compassion and definitely empathy. Okay. So here we go. So this subject is going to be about none other but Red Dead Redemption. No, I'm just kidding. Although there is a connection to Red Dead Redemption 2. Throw it up. Come on. Let's give props to Red Dead Redemption 2. I replayed this game, and this video isn't about that, so hang on. This video is actually more about the concept of finding peace in the middle of chaos. Now, for a long time, and I'm going to get to the connection real quick. For a long time, I have said to people that my work and what I've been trying to do is to teach people to have peace in the middle of chaos, because it's very easy to have peace on a mountaintop, right? To be in, surrounded by other people, a utopian type environment that people are always looking for. That's how you get pulled into cults and things like this. And to be kind of like on a retreat and all these things, and you're like, oh, I had this amazing time and I came into this peaceful place. But it is extremely difficult in the middle of chaos. And if today's world, speaking of New York, and so much more, what's happening in other countries, what's happening in the United States, the pandemic, everything, we are definitely in the middle of chaos. So how do you find peace in the middle of chaos is what I want to talk about. Now, how is that associated with Red Dead Redemption? When I was playing this game for the second time, there's a scene where Arthur is on his horse, and he's coming back from a place, and there's a song playing. And this song I got obsessed with. It is called Unshaken. You want to throw that up? And it is by D'Angelo. He wrote it and he sings it. It's an amazing song. If you don't know this song, run to it right away. However, I kept hearing the chorus going over and over and over and in my head. And the chorus is, actually, when I looked it up, I couldn't understand why I was just this obsessed with the song. I'm still obsessed with this song. And the chorus is, may I stand unshaken amid a mist, a crashing world. So may I stand unshaken amid a mist, a crashing world. Now, are we not in a crashing world? I would say we are. And when I researched it, I found out that the chorus is actually a mantra by Yogananda. I always get it wrong. He was a famous yogi. If you're here in LA, in Malibu, they have a whole center that is in his name, and they teach classes and all this stuff for enlightenment and everything. It's a huge thing. And it is actually one of the only books, if you know that I always say to you that I don't really read books on this information, that one day I saw on a bookshelf, and it's a picture of his face, and I just looked at his eyes and I was drawn to it. Now, this book actually confirmed a bunch of things that I had been going through and having understanding, and one of them was even today, even meaning this time in period, in IRL, in this world, this life, meaning right now. I don't mean 10 years ago, 5 years ago and such. I mean right now, like a few weeks ago, maybe even a week ago, that I realized that this mantra is very similar to what that realm has taught me, which is we want you to teach people how to find peace in the middle of chaos. Is that not similar to the mantra, to the chorus of the song, right? May I stand unshaken amidst a crashing world. And this is what's hard, because a lot of times in spirituality, in the spiritual community, and I want to make clear of my last video that some people might have interpreted me saying the awakening is over as saying, we need to stay in our own groups. We need to stay of only like-mindedness, avoid the news, don't know what's going on. And that is not what I was saying at all. What I was actually saying, and someone even referred to the virus as a so-called virus. This is not my belief. I am a believer in science, and I believe science can be friends with spirituality, with the spiritual community. We can work and be friends together. Actually, that video was about doing what's best for everyone, doing what affects one affects all the things I've always been saying. And what it was about was the idea that waking people up to this concept of doing what is best for everyone, meaning what you're doing affects a domino effect of people's lives. That's what that video is about, and that the awakening of this concept is over. I don't believe in the idea of removing ourselves from this world. So when I hear people say, I don't read the news, I don't see what's going on, I don't know anything that's going on, I understand there's a lot of anxiety with that. And it brings this feeling that you can't find peace in the middle of chaos. However, if you are removing yourself from what's going on in the world, you are missing the whole point of being a spiritual person. Spirituality is to assist us in this world, to be a part of the people, to see what is going on in different countries, in different states, in different cities, in different homes, and to be aware of it. Now, how do you find peace in the middle of all this chaos? How do you get to a peaceful place? Now, it depends on what your view of peace. My view of peace isn't like a Zen, you're just going to stay Zen all the time. Nothing affects you. You're unaffected, and, you just it blows off your shoulders. I don't really see it that way. What it really is realizing that there are so many things, just like the mantra and the song, that are trying to shake you and trying to tilt you over, trying to knock you down, trying to get you to fall. And finding a way to stay steady and steadfast, which I feel that may I stand in a world, may I stand unshaken in amidst a crashing world. Sorry. This mantra to me, and what I've been saying for so long, which is I want to teach people to find peace in the middle of chaos. Part of the reason why I teach people to hear the other realm, to hear the spirit realm, to hear the higher beings, and all of these things is so that you can have assistance in this world, in the middle of chaos. You can't always go home and turn off your lights and do a little meditation and all of this stuff and do breathing and find peace. Sometimes you're going to be right in the middle of chaos. And if there's ever a time that is true, it is now. And how do you find that peace is two things. One, you do check in with the other realm. You connect and allow yourself to feel. Don't worry about seeing or having visions or having all these magical, amazing things, but you want to feel. You want to feel the people in your life who have passed. You want to feel the higher beings and all of that such. And so one is to remember there is a world behind this world, and it is actively involved in this world. Trust me, the other realm is actively involved in this realm, trying to assist us. So that's one. And two is to recognize your feelings and maybe the chaos you're feeling and the disheartenment, all the things that are coming up in you that you are having to address. Recognize it. Don't run away from it. Look at it. Recognize it. And once you recognize it, you let yourself go through it. What do I mean by that? If you're sad, be sad. If you're frustrated, be frustrated. If you feel like you need to do something and you want to post something and have a voice or write a poem, whatever you need to do to kind of feel like you're putting something out there. Thirdly, you block yourself from pulling in and you kind of see like a glass wall between you and everything that's going on in the world. Now, let me tell you, it is a tall order right now. There is a lot of chaos. It is intense. I do this for a living. I do this for my life. This is the core of my being, and I have been rocked quite a few times, even as of recently, and this is why I know. It is hard to stay steadfast and to keep going in this kind of manner. I understand. But one of the ways is that you see it, you recognize it, you go through it, and then when you see and feel everything coming from so many places, we know what's happening in Texas, we know what's happening in New York, we know what's happening in your hometown, you know what's happening with the pandemic, all these things are coming at you and hitting at you. Everyone's opinions, everyone's thoughts are just slamming at you, slamming at you, slamming at you, slamming at you. And people's pain and people's all that intensity, you have to visualize like a glass wall that's between you and them. You see everything they're going through and you feel it, but you let it bounce back. You let it bounce back. You don't absorb it. Leave in the comments below. Are you feeling right now? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling like you're trying to keep a peacefulness in your life? However, don't tell me you feel it because you're just removing yourself from it. Are you finding a way to be aware and diligent about what's happening in the world and still keeping yourself protected from absorbing all of it? Or is it becoming increasingly more difficult? If it's becoming increasingly more difficult, it's because you're taking it on. You're absorbing it like a sponge. You're letting it stick to you like tar. You have to see it as there, and you feel all of what you feel and the empathy and compassion, and it has to bounce back. And it's hard. It's very hard more than ever because we're used to just being in our little world and what's happening over there. We kind of know, but it's not really directly affecting, at least we think it's not. It has always been. But now we're seeing it, and we're seeing it more and more due to the times we're in and due to technology. So how do you find yourself to kind of keep your 2 feet on the ground and keep going? You acknowledge what you're feeling. You recognize it. You move through it. You don't run from it. You don't push it down. You don't say, oh, well, it is what it is. You acknowledge it. You move through it. And then you look at it and you stay aware of what's around you and you let it bounce off. And then lastly, do whatever you need to do to recharge. If you go for a run, if you meditate, you don't all have to meditate, by the way, to recharge. It's not for everyone. If you go for a hike, if you bake, if you clean, if you listen to music, if you dance, you recharge. And then with that with the recharging, you cleanse. You cleanse and you take things, whatever it is, spray, oil, incense, whatever works for you, baths with salt. Because when you cleanse and you recharge, they have to go hand in hand. You can't just cleanse without recharging, because then you're just wiping all of the energy out and you're not recharging yourself. And this is how you can keep steadfast. And you do it if you need to daily, and if you need to weekly, but you don't do it every once in a while. It would be like, I brush my teeth every once in a while. Maybe some of you do. Okay. But this is not one of those things. This is a maintenance thing. This is something you do constantly. This is something you probably should do daily in these times especially. And you'll know if it's lifting for you and it's lifting for you, then you may not need to do it. However, I am definitely doing a cry out to you guys to remind you, removing yourself and saying, I don't know anything that's going on, I don't want to look at it, isn't the spiritual path. I'm sorry to tell you, it isn't. The spiritual path is to be aware of each other and how we're affecting each other, and how to see what affects one affects all. See what is happening. This is the only way we're truly going to evolve into a different consciousness. Okay. Now, lastly, I hope that helped. Lastly, I wanted to let you guys know I have a big announcement. I just launched a Patreon, and in my Patreon, I am going to offer, it's going to be very simple. It's $5 a month. That's all it is. And what you get with that is you get 35% off of all my readings. You're getting a code. And also, I'm going to add extra content. So that I'm going to say, if you join my Patreon and you leave this video, I am going to do a little video on different things you can do at home to create this piece. Meaning I'm going to show you like how to journey, how to communicate maybe with that realm. I'm going to talk about a little more detailed. So my Patreon is going to be for all the questions I kind of get here on YouTube that I can't really always answer in all the comments, or I can't always answer in my DMs. And I'm going to do little videos, meaning like I know what things people want to talk about. I'm also going to do lives. And once in a while, I'll do a little surprise live readings for you. I can do live streaming on there. I'm going to do extra videos, and you also get the 35% off. I did have a little thing that I put on my Instagram about the first 10 people get my book signed. I've already had 10 people sign up. So that's what I'm offering. I'm really excited. I'm going to be able to add more stuff in that and hopefully create an online community so that we can all talk to each other across the globe and connect in that kind of way. So you can meet people that maybe have like-mindedness with you and maybe have even the same kind of ideas and questions as you. And I'm really excited about it. So it's in my name, Adele Levine, and there'll be a link over here, I'm sure. And check it out. Join. It's really simple. I'm super excited about all of it. Lastly, I wanted to let you know I'm doing an intuitive gallery, which is going to be me answering questions for you guys. My Patreon, I am going to do that sometimes, but it's going to be sometimes randomly. But this is like for sure, if you have questions you want to ask, this isn't talking to the dead. This is for you. And you're like, boom, boom, I need to know these things. I have a very limited amount of seats for this online. You can check that out. Obviously, I'm no longer doing the code anymore, so I can't tell you that. I'm no longer offering the 50% off. Thank you guys so much. Follow yourself. Follow no one. Listen to your inner voice. And I'll see you soon.